What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back with another video, and today we're going to be looking at something different on the channel, trying to bring more in. I'm starting to feel a little better, so there'll be more videos coming out, which is always good. I'm going to be looking at the richest teams in the NHL. So I will go 31 to 1, and this is coming from Forbes. Now, every year Forbes does a list where they give out the top 50 richest sports teams in the entire world. And the NHL was actually not represented at all in the top 50, which kind of sucks. It shows that, you know, in other sports like basketball, football, baseball, whatever, teams are very, they've got crazy amounts of money. So we're going to be looking at the bottom through to number 1. Now, again, I'm going to go through the top, the bottom 15. I'm going to go through those fairly quickly, and then I'll provide graphics for you guys for the top 15, and we'll get a little bit more into the discussion. But as always, make sure you put down below in the comments what you feel, if there's any surprises on which team you thought had more money, which team had the biggest amount of money, whatever you want to talk about. Because some of these are surprises, and again, we're just going to be looking at the richest teams in the NHL. Some of these aren't so surprising. This one will be a lot of fun, I believe. So we'll start off with number 31 with the Arizona Coyotes at $300 million. And also, if you want to check out this entire list and look at the year-to-date change, because there's percentages and stuff, I'll leave the link down below in the comments so you guys can check that out as well. It's pretty interesting, but again, like I said, I'll go through fairly quickly for the bottom 15, and then we'll get into a little bit of a discussion with the top 15. So Arizona is actually at the bottom with $300 million. Florida is number 30 with $305. Columbus is number 29 with $315. Buffalo is number 28 at $350. Carolina is number 27 with $370 million. The Winnipeg Jets is 26th with $375 million. This is, and again, that number is what this team is valued at. The Nashville Predators at number 25, $380 million. That one surprised the heck out of me. Colorado at number 24, $385. Number 23, the Tampa Bay Lightning at $390 million. The New York Islanders are at number 22, $395 million. The New Jersey Devils are at number 21, $400 million. The Ottawa Senators at number 20 for $420 million. The Calgary Flames at number 19 for $430 million. At number 18 is the Minnesota Wild, $440 million. At number 17 is the St. Louis Blues. They're at $450 million. And at number 16 is the Anaheim Ducks at $460. So now I'm going to provide graphics for you guys. We're going to look from 15 to number 1. And just so that way we can have a little bit more discussion with something up on the screen for you. So at number 15 is the San Jose Sharks at $490 million. Now, this one doesn't surprise me too much. I mean, they've invested in hockey for quite some time. They've always had big names there, for the most part, from when I've been alive, since '96. I've seen certain teams who have obviously had big names, and San Jose has always had guys like, you know, Marlowe, Thornton, Owen Nolan. There's always been a big name there, and even in goal, they've had a lot of good names. When Toskala was actually decent, they've always had at least decent names in there. So San Jose being at number 15 at $490 million does not surprise me. At number 14, which is really cool, is the one that surprises me. Obviously, not being at the number, or at 2017 on the Forbes list, because, you know, they take it from the year prior. So Vegas making an appearance on the Forbes list, of course, with the NHL, $500 million. There's a lot of money put into this team, and for them to go to the Stanley Cup final in their first season, the product obviously was working for them, and this is just going to go up. Of course, not being ranked last year because of the fact that technically, you know, they take the numbers from the year prior, so they didn't really have anything to base off of because they were just creating the team. This is incredible for Vegas. They love their hockey. It's a surprise to a lot of people. I think that their on-ice product was a surprise because nobody figured they were going to be that good, but their product, obviously, in the business side of things, is doing well as well. At number 13 is the Dallas Stars at $515 million. This one I don't want to say is a surprise, but I felt like being at number 13 was a low number, considering obviously there's 31 teams. I figured they'd be more towards in the early 20s, I would say, but that again, that was just me guessing. Before I even looked, I was kind of giving myself a thought, okay, this team will probably be towards the top, and Dallas kind of surprised me being at number 13, but again, their product is working, of course. At number 12 is the Edmonton Oilers. This doesn't surprise me. I honestly can't believe that they're not lower when in terms of numbers in the top 5 or 6, because the Oilers have always been one of the most polarizing teams in the NHL. Like, the money invested into this team, whether it's the players, the arena, whatever, there's always money there. And of course, what's their name? The Kratz or the Katz family that like owns this team basically. I can't remember how they. I feel like they're owners, like the Kratz Cats. I can't remember what their last name is, but they seem to be investing quite a lot into this team and the city and the country of Canada. Like, I mean, the Oilers have been one of the teams that everybody looks towards when it comes to hockey. They're a big name. Anywhere, you know who the Oilers are based off of the Gretzky days and stuff like that. But again, not a huge surprise that they're there. The only thing for me was that I thought they'd be lower in terms of numbers, like in the top 5 or 6. At number 11 is the Washington Capitals, $625 million. So this one makes sense to me. I feel like with the product on the ice and the way that they've played, at least in the last decade, when they've had a huge star there and they've had good players there before, Washington is a team that I would figure would make money anyway. So at number 11, that kind of makes sense to me. At number 10 is the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, this one kind of shocks me because of I'm not sure how long ago it was, but with the sale of the team, I feel like the money was lower when obviously with inflation and stuff like that. But I feel like when they were talking about selling this team and like there was rumors of it going to Hamilton and all this other stuff, that the dollar amount to buy the team was much lower. But when you have guys like Crosby and Malkin and of course Kessel as of late in the last 4 years, 3-4 years, the money goes up, the value of a team goes up. I believe that this money that goes into this as well, like you're getting it from all different sides. You're getting it from the business, the on-ice product, whatever. If I'm incorrect, sorry, but I feel like that all comes into play when you're talking about a sports franchise. And them being at $650 million, this is when the money starts to get a little crazy. This is when a lot of these teams are worth lots of money. And Pittsburgh being there, not a huge surprise. At number 9, the Detroit Red Wings, another team at $700 million. This one, to me, feels like just because of the history of the team, this is obviously a historic franchise. The product on the ice, to me, is the reason why a lot of this money has been invested into this team. This Detroit Red Wings franchise has been one of the biggest franchises in hockey history. They're a staple when it comes to winning, and that helps when you look at business, because businesses and people who have money will want to be involved with places or teams, whatever, that make money. And I think that's going to be the same sort of narrative for some of the teams that are on this list towards number 1. And Detroit is right up there. And number 8, the Vancouver Canucks, $730 million. Another Canadian team here in the top 15, of course. Canadians love their hockey. That's going to be a part of it. Vancouver is a huge hockey market as well. They're always going to be towards the top when it comes to richest franchises in the top 10 in my eyes. Just because, like I said, that people love hockey in Vancouver. There's a lot of, I want to say culture. Like, there's a lot of hockey culture there as well. But there's a lot of people, from what I've heard, and I feel like I've watched a small documentary on this, if anybody knows what I'm talking about. But talking about how people really adapt in Vancouver. Like, when there's something cool going on, like, everybody wants to know about it. That would be kind of like any place, but I watched something on Vancouver when Vancouver was doing really well in the playoffs as well. And of course, we found out with the riots and stuff afterwards that people love their hockey, of course. But this makes sense for them to be there, and again, the business must be really good for them. The Philadelphia Flyers, it's going to kind of be the same for some of these teams. Just good hockey markets. People want to be involved. Them being at $740 million does not surprise me. The Broad Street Bullies, Philly has always been a popular sports franchise. To me, I would look at Philly being even lower, like when it comes to, again, when I say lower, I mean like in the top 5 when it comes to the numbers, because Philly, again, is just one of those teams that I feel like they've always had a lot of eyes on them because of the fact that they are good at marketing themselves. I mean, look at what they've done recently with Gritty, the mascot. Like they know how to get things like going crazy. The Broad Street Bullies was known by a lot of different sports fans. Even if you don't watch hockey, you know that the Broad Street Bullies, those Flyers, they'll kick your ass. Like they're gonna go out there and fight, and they've just been good at marketing themselves. I feel like that's why they've always continued to be at the top when it comes to money. At number 6, Los Angeles Kings. How much farther do we have to go past it being in LA? And a lot of people are saying, oh well, why are you saying LA loves hockey? Like they have baseball, they have basketball, this other stuff. LA just loves their teams. They support their teams. Each sports franchise is there. Like they all support each other. That's something that we've seen LA do for quite some time. And I feel the Kings are right in the thick of it. That's why they have these all-star games. They have these cool appearances and everything. Everybody loves LA. So people market when it goes to LA. They love to invest their money into LA. So them being at $750 million and at number 6, that probably will just keep going up. And number 5, the Boston Bruins. Again, historic, $890 million franchise. Historic. This is a great franchise, a storied franchise that has, made winners. They've had some of the biggest names in the world on this team when it comes to the players, when it comes to the coaches, when it comes to anybody. Like Don Cherry, of course, and then of course back in the day you had Bobby Orr, and then modern day you have Brad Marchand, you have Patrice Bergeron, David Pastrnak. Like they always have stars. Tuukka Rask, Zdeno Chara. They invest. People like to invest in big names. They like to invest in historic franchises. Boston at number 5 makes a lot of sense. All right, so in the top 4 here, at number 4 is the Chicago Blackhawks. And these 4 that you're seeing should be no surprise on the screen right now. $1 billion. This is when historic takes another step. Chicago is one of those teams where you look at that logo and you know that there's money there. That team has been a winner. They've had legends. They've had people investing in that team for years. And Chicago loves their sports. They're invested. Their fans are invested. Their investors, of course, are invested into what the product is in the business world and on the ice or the field, wherever. The Cubs are historic. The Bulls are. The Blackhawks. That is a sports town. Everybody in Chicago loves their sports, pretty much, from what I've seen. History shows it. The money shows it. No surprise. At number 3, the Montreal Canadiens, $1.25 billion. You've obviously watched Montreal Canadiens games. Look at that crowd. Look at how it's made in there, how amazing the fans are. I'm a Leaf fan, but I'm not just going to sit back here and be like, Montreal fans suck, because that's a lie. Montreal fans are instantly one of the best fans when it comes to sports in general, in my eyes. They've packed out that building. People invest into this team because, again, there's a rich history behind this team. They have the fans for it. The investors, everybody is in for the Montreal Canadiens. This is one of those teams that people are like, okay, this is our team. They love the Montreal Canadiens. The Habs are tops in Montreal. And listen, Montreal doesn't have a ton of sports teams, of course. Like Montreal's got to be the biggest one there. And the Montreal Canadiens have to be the biggest one there. Like, I mean, are we really going to count the Alouettes? Sorry, no offense, but until they get a baseball team, which I'm hoping that they do, Montreal Canadiens, man, everybody's invested. At number 2, the Toronto Maple Leafs, $1.4 billion. Toronto has money. Everybody likes going to Toronto when it comes to wanting to start a career, especially if you're in the sports, business or whatever, something that I would love to do. Toronto just has money. They have the big towers. They have all the teams. They have the investors. They have, the bigwig hotel guys. They have everything. The money is in Toronto. If you're investing in the Toronto Maple Leafs, you're investing in eyes. People are always going to be looking at you. The CN Tower is there. They incorporate everything into the Toronto Maple Leafs because this is a hockey city. Toronto is a hockey city. And people are going to be focused on the Toronto Maple Leafs until there's no more hockey. And obviously that's not going to happen. Hopefully we're going to knock on wood. Toronto Maple Leafs, one of the best sports franchises out there in my eyes. One of the richest, of course, when it comes to the hockey side of things. And no big surprise that they're at number 2. And at number 1, the New York Rangers. Big city, $1.5 billion invested into this team and what they've, become. People, again, in New York, like you're looking at Chicago, you're looking at Montreal, Toronto, Boston, LA, like all these teams, the fans are invested. People are invested in this. The money is put into this team because New York, again, it's huge there. Everybody is going to be watching sports. There's a huge following for the New York Rangers. Madison Square Garden. There's so much money invested into that building, in all of their sports franchises as well. And for the Rangers, you've also had polarizing names there, and of course Mark Messier being there with one of the greatest moments, promising a Stanley Cup. There's history there. The New York Rangers have brought some amazing moments, and with a building like Madison Square Garden and a team and the history like them, people want to invest. There's always been money invested into here, and they make money, much like a lot of these teams. So let me know what you guys think about this video. I tried to come up with a cool new style of video because I am interested in stuff like this. I love seeing which teams have money invested in them and stuff like that. So if you're new, make sure you subscribe. Love to have more hockey conversations with you. Join the squad. Let's get to 4,000 subscribers. I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Peace.